Hi guys, Johnny Aces here. Welcome to the Facebook Poker Challenge. This video is going to be all about continuation betting. Now this is an area where a lot of amateurs are basically burning money by continuation betting in all the wrong spots. Continuation betting is simply just showing aggression pre-flop and then following through on the flop with another bet basically. So I'm going to run you through 4 hands and 4 examples of when and when you shouldn't be continuation betting. And then towards the end of the video I'll do a quick summary. Okay, so each example we've got ace queen. So if you look at my starting hand chart, you know to raise his hand pre-flop, so you can see we do that just here under the gun. We get one caller. The flop comes 10-2-5. Now this is a great spot to continuation bet. Why? Because the flop is a kind of low flop. It doesn't have any draws. It's very unlikely to have hit our opponent. So really the only hand that our opponent can call with is if he has a 10 in his hand. And what hands have a 10 in? Well, ace 10, jack 10, king 10. There's a couple of examples, but if he's got 8-8 or 7-7 or 6-6, or even a hand like king jack or ace king, you know, some of those hands beat us at the moment and some of those hands don't. But by betting out, as you can see I bet 2/3 of the pot, our opponent folds. So really, if you continually do that hand after hand, it's like printing money. The next example, here we have ace queen again. We raise it in the same spot. We get 2 callers, and the flop comes ace king 4. Now in this example, we're going to demonstrate that if you hit the flop with any of the starting hands that I've told you guys to play, per the free guide that you will see on facebookpokerchallenge.com, if you hit your hand, hit the flop with any kind of pair, you need to bet for value. What do I mean by this? We just need to get the maximum amount of dollars for our hand. So we're going to bet. We get a call. In fact, the guy min raises us. Now this is a kind of suspicious bet. It's a pretty weak bet. It's a bet that an amateur will do. This guy is screaming at me, I have no hand, or I want to end this pot. The only real hands he can have here that actually have us beat are ace king, ace 4, a set of kings or a set of 4s basically. Those hands are pretty unlikely. Certainly ace king he might have re-raised before the flop. If he's got 4-4, more power to him. If he's got king-king, again it's likely he would have re-raised that pre-flop. So I'm instantly putting him on either a flush draw with the 2 red hearts or absolute air. So we're just going to call this bet and let him bluff his stack away. Turn is an 8, pretty inconsequential. We're not going to fold our hand. The guy jams it. He sticks his last $47 in. I'm pretty much going to insta-call there, which I did. Let's see what he has. He has king jack. You know, that's pretty terrible. He's only going to get called by better hands. He's not really folding out any hands that he doesn't beat anyway. So let's say if I had 10-10, yes, his all-in bet would have made me fold, but he doesn't want me to fold with a hand like 10-10. He wants to keep me in the pot. So by pushing all in there, he's just going to get called by a hand that's better than his, which we have. So, you know, that's just saying when we continuation bet, when we hit the flop, basically just don't fold, and you guys should be fine. Here's an example of when you shouldn't continuation bet. Now, one of the rules is if there's more than one player in the pot, it's probably a good idea just to fold. So here we have a min raise, a call. We've got ace queen. It's on our starting hand chart. It's a big hand, so we're going to re-raise. We make it $10. We get 2 callers, which is pretty bad by those guys to be honest, but that's for another video. The flop comes 6-7-9. Now this flop totally misses our hand. There's 2 players in the pot. The flop is very drawy, so there's a lot of straight draws out there. He could have 2 pairs, 6-7, he could have a flush draw, he could have a pair and a flush draw, a hand like 9-10 of hearts. He could have a pair and a straight draw, for example 9-8. So there's basically loads of hands these guys can have that are not going to fold if we bet. And the only reason we see bet in this example is if we believe both players are going to fold. So we check, the guy bets, we just fold. That's the end of the hand for me. Just a last example, again ace queen, we raise it under the gun, we get 1 caller. Again the flop is low, it's drawy, Although there is only one player in this pot, a lot of players here holding ace queen would bet, but actually it doesn't really give you any kind of value added expected value. What I mean by that is if we bet, we're only going to get called by a better hand. We're only going to fold out the hands that we beat anyway. So again, as before, there's so many hands that are going to call. Flush draws, straight draws, two pair hands, a pair of eights is going to call, a pair of nines is going to call. Basically the only hands that he isn't going to call with are hands like king jack, king queen, king 10, and we beat those hands anyway. So what we're going to do is we're going to check, we're going to fold, and we're out the hand. We've lost the minimum, and we've only lost $3 before the hand. So to summarise, continuation betting. This is where we bet after showing aggression pre-flop. For this to be successful, you should really be looking to continuation bet versus one player only. Bet on dry flops, for example, where we had the flop that was a 10 and 2 low cards, with no straight draws, no flush draws. If you do hit the flop, then you're just going to go with your hand and expect it to be best. And where we have multiple players and drawy flops, you've just got to get out the hand. There's no point wasting our money. For more great tips and to be part of the Poker Challenge, join us on www.facebookpokerchallenge.com. Good luck at the tables.